Well, hello and welcome again. This is Mike, Chris, and Bruce coming back to you again with what we consider to be very important slight calibrations, subtle distinctions that are going to make a significant difference to your business. Because what we're about is business success without the pain. One of the areas that can significantly shift the pain is something that we are going to go into today, which is called a management system. For some of you, that's a brand new concept. For others, you are actively and actually applying this. We want to open this up and open the conversation. We'd like to hear from you. So today it's going to be a little bit interactive. We're trying to stimulate your thinking because we want to know and we want to create a report back to you guys as to what you feel are the best elements and what you must look for a successful and a potent management system. So welcome.
Awesome. Thanks, Bruce. Yeah, so I think calibration is really important there. And really what we're trying to do is just calibrate our understanding of what it is that you're experiencing. So we're going to walk through a few problems that we're noticing, and I'd like to hear, if you're actually noticing this. We hear this from people, right? Like basically they're just spending too much, and it can be dollars, it can be time, it can be whatever, but they're frustrated with it. The employees are resisting, results aren't coming as fast as they want. Whatever it is you're working on takes too much time, and it just seems too complicated. It shouldn't be this hard. And ultimately what that means for your business is that it's stuck somewhere, right? Some of you might be further along your business evolution. Others might be just getting started, but at some point you get stuck. So, we're trying to figure out here what it is you're doing to work through this. Do you have a management system? Or do you have a management system and you're not really happy with it? Or you simply need something more in your business to move to the next level, whatever that is. So, Bruce and Mike, are you seeing anything in here that kind of stands out as problems you've seen in clients you've worked with, companies that you've worked with?
Well, it's a universal problem. All you'd have to do is take a stroll through the management section of your local bookstore, and you're inundated with all of these best-selling books. There's all the standards like E-Myth and Traction and Good to Great, and we're reading them, we're consuming them, we're inspired by the ideas, and then we wonder, how in the world are we going to ever implement this? And then even those that provide you with some structure on how to implement it, then the frustration persists. They're still spending too much time on, working on putting out the same fires. They're still trying to motivate their employees to be more engaged. They're still waiting for those results to finally kick in. And they're taking what they feel is action steps. And so there's this frustration, and we want to find out what system you're using. Is it working for you? Is it really working for you? And is it not working for you? And then we want to provide this information back to all of our group members so that we can all start adopting the very best management practices out there.
Awesome. So let's do a little bit of level setting and calibration. Here's our quick assessment of what a management system really is. We could have written this a lot of different ways. But basically, in our view, it directs and harmonizes every people, process, and strategy, and it also does it real time, right? So all of those elements have to be in there. It has to be orchestrating all of this across the people, process, and strategy, and do it in the moment, right? It can't be something that waits for a week or a month or a quarter or a year to get done. You want visibility into it, you want accountability into it, and you want it all bubbling up or down to the right person.
Chris, I love the word you used, harmonize, because people, process, and strategies in a organization that truly has a well-functioning management system, they're aligned. It's what is leveraging all of the time and talent of the organization and its resources. So it makes all the difference between stress and success.
Yeah, and that word alignment is critical, right? Because it's an alignment across everybody, from the person who has I don't like this term, but the lowest level job, to the CEO or that visionary, that person at the top whose idea was that founded the company. Everybody needs to understand what's going on, why they're in that position and how it impacts the company. So there are a lot of different analogies you can use, but we like the analogy of an orchestra, right? Some kind of conductor, somebody that's leading everything, that's taking cues from the people that are actually producing, doing the work, and the person that's leading it. It's a not even a two-way. It's a multi. How can I can only do it with my hands, but it's a multiple feedback kind of loop that's happening, right?
Exactly.
So it looks like this.
Complete integration. Complete integration.
Exactly. Complete it. Yeah.
Where most organizations are siloed and the organizational functions don't really know how to communicate with each other. What you're saying is there's complete interaction and the right hand knows what the left hand is doing. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you have got to pick up the phone or have a meeting. It's just the system is in place to communicate what's happening, and so that the whole organization can respond when things aren't going right, and to leverage the good things that are happening so you can expand on what's going well.
Yeah, so if you think about a symphony orchestra, which has a conductor, or a marching band, which has a drum major, this actually is our local marching band. They went to Macy's last year. They've got a drum major that's directing all these people. This is only a small piece of it, but they've got 50, 75 people out there, all taking cues from each other and from that drum major, right? They're orchestrated. We want to know, is your team orchestrated, right? Is it all working together in concert? I guess that's where the word concert comes from. So we hear people say this all the time, not just in the Facebook group or from our members, but also from clients, companies we've worked with, and just working in whatever jobs we've had, right? They struggle to manage all the moving parts of the business. So what does that mean? Things are great until something happens, right? Until you name it, right? Like what might that be? Somebody quits their job, they get promoted, they're sick, they go on vacation. We've seen this all the time. I mean, Mike, you come with examples like this constantly when we're kind of preparing for these sessions. Drum roll.
You'd like me to respond?
That would be good.
Yeah. So there's another perspective too, in that when you ask a leader, "How's it going?" and they say it's going great, and then you really start to probe them and ask them, "Well, how's it really going? You seem so stressed. How's it going with your employees?" "Well, I always have those employee problems." "How about your customers?" "Well, they're still complaining. How about quality?" "Well, it should be more consistent." "How are results?" Well, I wish I was making more money and I could afford to have the lifestyle I want." So things are great. And for those of you who are implementing some of these management systems, the popularized ones, you may have some improvement, but are things really great? Because the thing that surprises us, how many of our members call us and tell us that, they're implementing some of these solutions and things aren't so great. They're frustrated by, having almost day-long meetings to discuss issues, never-ending meetings, or their customers are still complaining about inferior quality. So we want to resolve that.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great point, because it's until you uncover something, right? Pull back the curtain, peel back the layers, things may not be so great. So here's another common thing, right? People struggle to just get everybody on the same page. And Mike actually just mentioned it. It may just take too much time, right? A day may seem fast. Sometimes it may be a week. Sometimes it may be a month. Sometimes you may be in some kind of cycle where it takes 3 months to get the information you need, or depending on how you're operating or managing something, it may not get to the right people or if ever, right? So that's very common, especially with larger organizations, more than 1 or 2 levels of management. This definitely happens a lot, right? Just the speed and the accuracy and the completeness of getting information to the right people. Another thing, I think Mike alluded to this as well, is you get so far with it, but what next? How do we proceed? What's the actual plan? All these different books and methodologies hypothesize something, but they don't necessarily tell you how to go forward or what to do next. I've seen it a number of times, and it's frustrating because you're ultimately stuck. There's no guide, right?
You know what you also make me think of, Chris, is that some of these approaches are pretty unsophisticated. And once a business grows to a certain point, it does require a certain level of sophistication to connect the dots, to create that organization from chaos. And so maybe they're on the right path, by adopting some of these best-selling systems out there, but they just need a little bit more sophistication. That's why we're so interested in knowing what your experiences are. Are you happy with the system that you're adopting? Do you need a system if you don't have one? Or do you have the system and it's just, not really working for you anymore?
Yeah, and that's actually, I mean, you nailed it, Mike. That goes straight into the next thing, the next item here, which is you have to have something more, and it really depends on where you are. But I think you covered all those points, right? There's just so much that's going to surface in your business, and it's always going to be more. It's always going to be changing, and unless you're selling tomorrow, you're going to always have that challenge of needing more.
Well, let's talk about that for a moment. If they're selling,
go ahead.
They definitely need a really robust system, because the potential buyer is going to be very cautious. They're very risk averse. And if your business cannot be run without you or your key employees, it has very little value. So since you mentioned it, I just want to point out that having a really good management system could make the difference between making your dreams come true with a really lucrative exit, the terms you can live with, versus being disappointed you can't even find a buyer.
Yeah, so true. I mean, I hear it from a number of different people that I'm working with where they want to sell and they're not getting that multiple on earnings, which, there are some pretty concrete numbers out there, and you want to maximize it, right? You want to get the higher multiple on your earnings, especially the larger your business gets, the more sophisticated it is. But it doesn't always happen, even in this robust market. So really, we want to know what's going on with you. We want to hear from you. Do you have a system? So let us know. Write us back. We'll give you a way to communicate with us. But tell us, do you have a system and it's working? Great. We want to hear that. Maybe there's something that's missing, but we'd love to hear back from you and tell us what system you're using. Maybe you have a system and it's not working, or it's not working exactly the way you want it to do, or to get to that next level. So tell us that. Again, share with us a little bit about what it is you're doing, how far you're into it, and we're happy to have a conversation about it. There may be people out there that still don't quite know what a system is, or they simply don't have one. They've looked into it. They've decided not to use it. There could be a lot of reasons, right? It's too expensive, too much time. They don't feel they're big enough. Something's preventing them from adopting or pursuing a system. But you might also feel that you need one. So if you're in that boat, let us know. Maybe you don't have a system and you're not sure if you need one. That's probably 3A or 4 on here, but I already have a 4. So do I miss anything there, guys, on kind of how we want to hear from people?
No, we really want interaction now with our group to find out, because our mission is to identify the best management systems and the best management practices so that we could share it with everybody and we could all benefit. So we need your help.
Yep, absolutely. So 3 questions. Please share your answer. You can always message Bruce Ross or myself, Chris Scheer, and certainly email me at chrisscheer@cofocusmi.com, and fill us in on what's going on in your world. And again, we're happy to have a conversation with you about this. Next week, we hope to dive in a little bit further about some of the implications here, but we wanted to hear from you before we actually started down that path. So I think that's it, guys.
All right. Terrific.
Great.
Well, thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you both. Mike, I know you pulled out of a client meeting, so we appreciate you joining us here, but thank you.
I'm going to head right back in now.
All right, get on it. Okay, thanks, guys.
Bye, everybody.